Fake truthers do exactly what people in the media do. They treat their audience like mushrooms. They keep them in the dark and feed them shit. The purpose of a fake truther is to spread false or misleading information amongst the truth community so that when people who listen to this false and misleading information go to share that information with their normie friends, they are made to look like either idiots or whack jobs. And that is exactly what Brian has done on numerous occasions, and that is exactly what he's doing in this video. And I'm going to prove that right now, but before I do, I want to make a quick observation about this video that Brian made, and a video that I put out just a couple of hours before he put this video out. So this video that Brian made, he starts his video off by showing the protest in Europe, and then showing what Jacinda Ardern had said about the vaccine mandates not ending. And then he goes on to share the fake information, which I will be going into in a second. This is very, very, very similar to this video I put out, as I said, just a couple of hours before, in which I show Jacinda Ardern saying her nonsense, and then I play her nonsense over the protests that are going on in Europe against the COVID mandates. Of course, I make a badass music video out of it, and it's a lot more entertaining, or at least in my opinion, than Brian's high-impact commercial, because that's all he's actually doing. He's just making some really hardcore commercials that get people to buy his bullshit products. What he does is he gets people scared, he gets people in this state of mind to make them think that they need these products, and then he sells them those products. So with that out of the way, and I made other videos about Brian, you can go check out my other videos about Brian. I've exposed him numerous times using facts, reason, and evidence, not using ad hominem attacks like he claims I use and like he uses against me. So let me show you how Brian keeps you in the dark, and then I'm going to show you how he feeds you shit.
Or we'll release those like, you need a 12th booster. That'll do her. What was the net worth of Jacinda Ardern when she first took office? It was about...
Okay, so here is part of the bullshit that he's feeding you. He says her net worth when she first took office. This article that he's reading from makes the claim that her net worth was $800,000 not when she first took office, but just last year. And Jacinda Ardern took office in 2017. That's important information, and you will see why. You might think, oh no, you're just nitpicking, but it's actually very important information, or it's actually very important to make that distinction. And you'll see why in a second.
$100,000. Do you know her net worth now reportedly is $25 million? They say it's gone up by 3,100%.
So here he says, they say it has gone up by 3,100 or by more than 3,100%. But who is this they? He doesn't tell us who this they is. And if you look, and I'm not going to mute him, let's play back what he does here. Look at how he intentionally tries to keep you in the dark as to what source he's using. He starts this off super zoomed in. Super zoomed in. And by the way, there is an edit here. If you watch from here to here, there is an edit there. So he intentionally started this page off incredibly zoomed in like this, and then he zooms out in such a way that makes it very difficult to distinguish which website he's actually reading from. Look at this. Zoomed out, zooming in, being very careful not to let you know exactly what website he's reading from. However, he gave me a clue right here. He went up a little bit there, and you can see this little green wiki here. He actually goes up there too. You can see this little green wiki. This lets us know exactly what website he's using. So you go into Google, and yes, you don't have to use Google. I use Google because I'm an idiot, and I don't really give a fuck if they're tracking me. And this brings me to a whole nother topic where these truthers, they get all paranoid, like, oh, they're tracking you. They're tracking your information. It's like, what the fuck do you guys have to hide? The truth fears no light. You don't need these fucking all this shit that they try to sell you. Just a second, I have to plug in my computer. It's about to die. So yes, it amazes me that these truthers, they try to sell you this, what's that shit where you can use like a different IP address or whatever. It's like, why do you guys need that? Like, what the fuck are you guys trying to hide? But I digress. So you go into Google, you type this information in, and you will find this right here. This www.wiki.ng. This is the article he's reading from. Now, before I read from this article, I have to let you know where this website comes from. So, what is a .ng website? What is a .ng site? NG is the Internet Country Code top-level domain for Nigeria. Now, this shit's hilarious because I immediately thought about Mr. Jesse Smollett and his Nigerian brothers. Well, I mean, they're not his brothers, but the two Nigerian brothers that he used to carry out his hoax. So Brian is using a Nigerian source to perpetuate his own little hoax over here. So let's go to this website. So it says this. What is Jacinda Ardern's net worth in 2021? We can skip this. This value features a massive outgrowth from her net worth of only $800,000 from November month of the previous year. Yeah, November month of the previous year. Like, that is grammatically correct English. Obviously a Nigerian website. So, and then it says this 3,100%. However, there is no source for this. This information you cannot find publicly anywhere. They're pulling this out of their ass. Or more specifically, they're pulling it from Twitter. That's their source. Something that was posted on Twitter. I know Brian likes to hang around the Twitter sphere because, you know, he's just looking for what's trending on Twitter so he can make something that's trending on Twitter so his video can trend. He doesn't care if it's deceiving his audience. He doesn't care if it's a lie. He doesn't care if it's misinformation. He's like, oh, well, this is trending. I'll make a video out of it, and thus I'll get views. I mean, it's very smart, but it's something that only a piece of shit, money-grubbing, blankety blank would do. I'll just censor myself there a little bit. So I had to do some legwork to find an article that at least gives us some information. Now, I found this website, The Focus, it's thefocus.news, entitled Jacinda Ardern's Net Worth and Salary as Prime Minister Might Surprise You, from 4 days ago. So it gives some background. And it says that there's a post several posts speculating on her riches went viral. And it says, she has been the sitting Prime Minister of New Zealand and the current leader of the Labour Party since roughly 2017. Okay, we can skip a whole bunch of the nonsense. The article admits that her net worth is not publicly available. So what this article does is it calculates her earnings and basically comes up with like an estimate, or calculates her known earnings and comes up with a rough estimate. So it says, of course, it gives you what net worth is defined as. So for Jacinda Ardern, her finances not being publicly discussed. However, we do know details about her salary as Prime Minister of New Zealand, as this is a public role. So I guess this is just all filler. So in April 2020, it was reported that Jacinda Ardern has an annual salary of 471,000 New Zealand dollars, or 281,000 US dollars. These reports emerged around the time Ardern announced she would take a 20% pay cut during the early stages of the global lockdown. She, along with other public service CEOs, I find it funny that they call her CEOs because countries are apparently like companies, would reduce their pay for 6 months. And then it quotes Ardern. So then, given that Ardern has held the role of Prime Minister since 2017, she will have earned roughly, or earned over, 2,300,000 New Zealand dollars. So when you do the conversion, that equals to a little over a million, probably $1.5 million. We'll just say there, okay? So let's return back to the article. She has been a member of parliament since 2008, although prior to landing the Mount Albert electorate, Ardern was a list MP, Member of Parliament. A government career website estimates New Zealand's members of parliament could earn between $160,000 and $180,000 per year. Now, what bothers me is this fucking article doesn't let us know whether that's New Zealand dollars or US dollars. Let's just assume that it's New Zealand dollars, okay? That's roughly this right here, about 108,000 US dollars. So we can say that she made between 108,000 US dollars and 20,000 US dollars. We'll just estimate, whatever, not important. Now, I will say that it is ridiculous that these politicians are making that much money, but that was not the point of Brian's video. So let's stick to the point of Brian's video. Besides her salary as Prime Minister, Arden has also written books and has been named as one of the world's most influential women. This raises her net worth again. Arden was named on Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2019 list and Forbes Magazine's 25 Most Powerful Female Political Leaders of 2017 list. With this in mind, it is likely that Jacinda Ardern's actual net worth is somewhere between $5 and $10 million. Okay, so now let's just make a couple of points. Here I'm going to make my couple points, aside from Brian, concealing the website that he used. I'm going to say that it makes... Oh, actually, wait a second. The article also goes on to say, how does this compare to the net worth of other world leaders? And then it gives the net worth of other world leaders, Angela Merkel, President Macron, Justin Trudeau, Boris Johnson, and Barack Obama and Joe Biden. All of them are millionaires. I know, it's fucking ridiculous, and this should not be tolerated, but this is not the point of Brian's video. So with this in mind, I want to say that it is insane, how long she was in office for. She was in office, or at least as a member of parliament, since 2008. Okay, so she was making hundreds of thousands of dollars between 2008 and 2017, and then from 2017 to 2020, because that's when they say that she had only $800,000, she was making over $280,000. So it is insane or crazy to think that her net worth was only $800,000 in 2020, like this bullshit article claims, and like Brian is trying to perpetuate. Brian is trying to say, oh yes, in just the time the lockdowns happened, she went from $800,000 to $25 million. It is bullshit, okay? And what Brian is doing here, as I said from the very beginning, it is allowing people who hear what Brian says, they're going to take that, they're going to share it with their normie friends. Their normie friends are going to fucking do the right thing and spend 5 minutes researching this, less than 5 minutes researching this actually. They're going to come across this article, like I just came across, and they're going to be like, wow, my truther friend is a moron, and they're not even going to bother looking into other truths. So that's what Brian has just done to the truth community, and that's why I'm making this video. Because his bullshit video will have this exact effect on the truth community and on people who believe him. And then the funny thing is, check this shit out. You got Brian's dumbass followers. Look at these morons over here. Your channel sucks. Okay, that's great, buddy. Congratulations. Okay, then this person's crunching the numbers. The person who I want to really address is this whack job. This guy over here. It's like he doesn't even know how to do logic. Of course, his comment is highlighted. Let me just go to his video. Brian is a truth teller. I have been listening to him for years. I highly value his opinion over some mindless YouTube bot like yourself. So Brian's little cult followers, they act and behave exactly like the people in the mainstream media, exactly like the normies. They just listen and believe. They don't even spend 5 minutes researching the shit that Brian says. And this is all by design, because they want both sides to be this stupid, because they're planning on having both sides fight with each other so that the government can come in and be the solution to this problem. Anyway, there's probably a lot more I can say about this video that Brian made and about Brian and about this whole topic, but I'm not even going to bother with that. I've made a whole bunch of videos about Brian. I've totally exposed him, so I'm just going to leave this video here. Brian, you're a coward. You're either a shill or an idiot. I'm not going to say definitively that you're a shill, because knowing you, you'll try to sue me for libel and try to silence me. I know you'll say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Well, I don't trust you. You are a dirtbag. You are a dirtbag who keeps people in the dark and feeds them shit.
Now you see that standout? Now that is a dirty little bastard.